Okay, I think this is working. It seems like it is. In case you can't tell, today it is just me. On Sam's channel, The Scandal, I know. Let's see. Uh, I have had a little bit of technical difficulty this morning, so if anyone picks up on that, just let me know. Currently, there is no one watching, so I'm going to wait till a couple people trickle in to explain. I mean, Sam's absent, that's fairly obvious. With Wednesday. Every time I spell Wednesday, I go Wednesday. And honestly, that's never going to change. Live. Yay, Rowan's here. All I need is Rowan to be here, and no one else matters. I'm only saying that because no one else is here. But shout out, Rowan. Oh, thank you. I hurriedly did it before stream because I had a bit of a bedhead and it's Sam's day to set the stream. But she's not feeling well. So I took over, or so it means I had to set up the stream. And then I had camera difficulties because my webcam was working fine with the camera app. But for some reason, when I connected it to Restream, which is our streaming software on the computer, it was just green. So currently I have my laptop set up to the side here, and it's actually streaming video through there, but I have Restream open on my computer, and that video is just tucked to the side because there's no camera on my computer. And I just am like, I assume audio is coming through because no one's gone, hey, I can't hear you. But I definitely had spent a lot of my morning panic trying to figure that out rather than doing my hair properly. So I did actually end up being able to do it. You can tell because my bangs are out today. That's whenever you can tell if I had time to get properly ready, whether or not my bangs are to the side or down. Because down, it's a whole thing. Because bangs. But so there's a couple more people. Sam's not feeling well, so I have fully taken over her channel. It's mine now. I am the writing mom. You are all my children now. Hey, Lefty. I'm glad the audio is working. Thank you guys for the reassurance. I'm yet back in my uniform at this point for WIP Wednesday, which is the Owlbears sweater, because I am on the second to last episode of sophomore year of Dimension 20's Fantasy High, and very much enjoying it. Although I was looking at the dates as I watch it, as it slowly counts down to mid-March of 2020 when COVID hit. And I could see in the little viewfinders that the last two episodes are on Zoom, and I understand for safety, and I'm glad they did it. But my heart breaks because it's just a different experience. Plus the DM Brennan, his mic is not great. So I'm hoping for the last episode someone gives him a good mic. I'm like, you guys are a film company. Please give Brennan a good mic. He does so much talking. It sounds like he's talking like this. My mic, I'm pretty sure. Well, you guys are connected to the street mic right now, not my very. I can't. There's a light set up on my mic, but my fancy, nice mic. But, it's just a little rough. Okay, so 30 seconds left. What is everyone working on today? I will be working on Storm's Heir, which is my gay dragon novel, which I just upped to a more mature rating. So I'm going back and adding in some explicit violence. And later I'll write a sex scene at some point. I actually have an author friend of mine who I'm going to ask about. She's a published sex scene. I just read it and it was really tastefully done. It was also lesbians, which I haven't read many of those before. And it was beautifully done. So, all right, into the sprint. We can talk after. Okay, I have to mute over here. Hi. I think I'm unmuted. Welcome to break number 1. That was our 45-minute sprint. How did everyone do? I got from we're on chapter 1, which is remnants of when it used to be a script. So I'm like very much everything up. And I don't actually know how many words I added, but I'm now on page 9. And last stream, I talked about killing a character and not wanting to kill her because I got slightly attached. Well, now I'm killing her, but I got to the scene where we discover her body. So I'm writing I feel like I'm doing an ASMR voice right now, but I'm writing I'm like in like a kind of low mood from this scene, so I'm like, I don't know, I'm speaking kind of quietly. Let me know if I need to be louder. But yeah, where he's about to find the burned remains of her body, and I'm not sure if I want to have her corpse be like where she jumps over the man she was trying to save at the last second, which will parallel later in the chapter when Rai jumps over a child to protect her, but he doesn't die. Neither does the child. So I'm doing that. Or if like the parallel would be too close. I kind of want to do the parallel. I love parallels. Okay, let's check on chat. Oh god, the Rona years. Yeah. Zoom D&D is so hard. Yeah. People don't. Rowan and I are in a Zoom D&D group together, and then Rowan has a couple others. But yeah, it is. And then I'm in one with me, Matt, not Tina, Cody, Sam, and Chris. And I'm DMing that. Gonna be reading Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't know what that's about. I'm waiting for my food, but after that, hopefully working on my WIP. I hope that you got food. I got some snacks because tomorrow is grocery shopping. Tomorrow is money day, and then it's grocery shopping day as well. And I just like budgeted poorly or something this week, and I'm ending up going through snacks, backlog snacks kind of thing. I had to get stuff for Storm, so I think that cat litter and cat food ate a bunch of my food money, which is fine. Hi. Nice of you to join us. Hello, Lefty. Saying too. Rowan said that they were just going to read what inspiration struck, so wrote 150 words. Nice. Very good. Lefty had food and hopefully start my sprint on the next one. I believe in you. What did you get to eat? And Rowan, Sunrise on the Reaping is a new Hunger Games book. Oh shit, I didn't even know there was another one. Which in the Hunger Games timeline does this one take place in? Is there going to be a Hamish book? Also very proud of myself that I remember that guy's name. And you're going to be like, no, that's actually not his name. You know, the one that's played by the guy that plays the cowboy in Night at the Museum. Who's the actor's name I'm blanking on. Lefty says money day was yesterday for me, so I got plants and ordered some food. Nice. Rowan is not sure what the Hunger Games book is about, which is fine. I also was writing. It is Hamish's book. Okay, go me. Damn, I'm awesome. Well, I know who wins that one. I'm going through, and I talked about it a little bit last stream where I wasn't sure. I think it was during a stream. What to refer to. Sorry, there's a slight delay because it's here and then I'm watching it on here. And there's the smallest delay between my speaking and what I'm seeing on this computer. So it just tripped me up for a second. Yes, Owen Wilson, I think. So I have Rye's perspective and how he's referring to his mom. And it feels weird within the narrative to call her like mom. Like, oh, mom walked through the, because like that's just, my brain is like, ooh. So I think I'm gonna do like his mom and stuff. And then I also think I'm like, mom is a way of referring to your mother, which is nothing wrong with that. But I think I might switch to ma. I call my parents like mama and papa, and I'm not going full in for that. But I think ma, although there is part of me that kind of wants to go mum, like mum, like British, but I'm not doing that. So ma, I think is what I'm gonna do, which just makes me think of like Ma Kent, like Clark Kent's mom, who's an icon. So I wrote little notes here of like possible things as I was writing I could talk to you guys about. And one of them is Storm's Nest. And I got really confused because my book is Storm's Heir, not connected to my cat who is named Storm. And Storm's Nest really, I was like, why does Rye have a nest? Like, what is this in reference to? It's my cat Storm. She has a nest in the closet, and I move stuff around in the closet because I got a walking pad, and I need to store it somewhere. So I store it in the closet, and I had to move like a shelf thing I have in there, and it got rid of like a little hidey hole that was her nest. And all throughout that stream, she kept coming over to the closet and like pawing at it. And then I opened the closet, and then she stick her head in, realize the nest is gone, and then leave, and then come back like 30 seconds later. And I'm like, girl. So Storm's Nest. Lefty had chicken and rice and veggies and some deep fried rolls like feta. Oh my god, that sounds so good. Oh, I'm so hungry. It's fine. I'll eat more of my applesauce. That's a weird way of eating applesauce. I feel like it should be at a picnic or at school lunch. But yeah, that's what I was. And I have another sticky note here where as I go in and add little like fluff things up, I injured Rye's fingers as he's climbing out of it. Wow, my hand has so much stuff on my eyeliner thing. Like, had an issue this morning, so I did not realize it was so bad. But Rye like climbs out of a well, and I have him injure his fingers when he's doing that. So I made a note. I'm like, they have to be bandaged later, and then keep that continuity throughout the story. My dad set up a bird feeder with a camera on it, so that's exciting. But yeah. Rowan says that they've been writing a lot of poetry recently, which is so different for them, so might work on that a little next sprint. I like your poetry. Rowan, tell Storm we say hi, by the way. I'm gonna say. Oh, she's in there. Storm! Her ear twitched. Rowan says hi. You got nothing. Boo! Entertaining the masses. But yeah, I'm making progress on it. This is definitely the hardest chapter for me, like the one that's going to have the most work because it's chapter 1, which is the roughest, which is I think a generally normal thing, like pretty par for the course for everyone. Wow, this is a long ass chapter compared to the others. 11 pages. Well, maybe not. The next one is 11 pages. Never mind. I was just wrong. It's funny comparing it in my outline. Chapter 1 has like so many bullet points. And then chapter 2, it's like 2. It's like, oh, there's a hunting scene and then there's a banquet scene. I don't even know if the banquet scene is. I don't know. The banquet scene's not even in chapter 2. It's like, oh, it's a little bit of a sneaky scene and then a hunting scene. But go off me. Filled 11 pages of that, which is good. Rowan says, usually do the first chapters last because I find them so hard. Props to you for getting it out of the way. I can't write out of order. Or like I have zero inclination to. Like I can edit out of order, obviously. But I can't like sit down and like, oh, I'm really excited to write this scene. I'll just write it now and write the other stuff later. Like, yeah, because I can't keep everything straight in my head. I can barely keep stuff straight when I write it chronologically. So going out of order like that, no way. I have like nothing against other people doing it, but nope. Even with like a detailed outline, I'm always extending what is on the outline. So it won't match up with what is. Wow, my words just like died. It is not perfect. Even if I'm like super have an awesome outline, I'll like add in a couple snidbits here and there. Like what I'm doing right now, which is, reverse outlining, or not even reverse outlining, but like everything up, adding layers to the story. I'm struggling to keep things straight. And make sure all the references are everywhere. That's lots of notes. Oh my god. I feel like every time we stream or WIP Wednesday, it gets like an hour in and then I'm yawning and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed now. Which is wild because I woke up 2 hours ago. Life is hard for me. I slept in till 10. Did have like weird ass nightmare dreams last night, so I had a little bit of wine, and by a little bit I mean like less than half a cup, like the cup measurement. Maybe like a fourth of a cup, because I poured a cup, like a small cup of wine, and I took like 2 sips, and I was like, no, I'm not really wanting to drink this right now. But it made my dreams weird as fuck. So no more wine before bed. I sound like my parents, an adult. Like, oh, if I drink before bed, I'll like have nightmares or weird dreams. I don't know if that's a thing. I could take time to Google it, but this is WIP Wednesday, so that's a later CB investigation. Part of me wants to pull out the walking pad and do the walking pad as I'm working, but that'll be distracting for all of us. Mostly me. Mostly you, actually. Rowan says snippets. I love snippets. Snippets of writing within the outline? I'm confused. Sorry, babes. I have no idea what you're saying. But yeah. I like writing chronologically. Like I'm excited to finish editing the first 4 chapters, which is what I have typed up. 3.5 really. So I can go back to writing draft 1. Because I just need to get. I'm still referring to this. I said snippets. Damn. Snippets is what I meant. Probably. Well, I'm glad it made you happy, Rowan. Apparently, I said snippets. Snidbits. Whatever. I'm giving up. That's my legacy. Snidbits. What's the difference between a snippet and a snippet? But I was going somewhere with this. If I just prolong this brain fart for another 30 seconds, it'll be fine. But no. Yeah, then I can get back. I refer to what I'm writing right now kind of as draft 1 still because it's draft 1 of this outline. And once I get it up to, I'm so close to getting it up to speed that I'm not actually, but I have like 3 chapters. Once I do, I can start writing it for real. So yeah. Cool. Get back to writing. Woo! I have too many screens. Hello and welcome back. We had a couple more people pop in during that. Let's say hi. Lefty says good luck. Publish with Andy has shown up. Hi. I don't have that emoji. I don't know if we've seen you before, Andy. Hi. This is Sam's channel. Samantha L Nasset, writing mom Samantha L Nasset. I am CP Ferrenz. We do WIP Wednesday every week on Wednesdays. And Sam's not feeling well this week, so it's solo stream for me on her channel. Lauren Farrow pop in and say hey, and then answered our question. Some research I've done for writing includes technology relating to energy. I'm hoping to get inspo spark for energy solutions for my world. That's cool. What kind of world is it? Like sci-fi? I'm guessing sci-fi, but fantasy, like urban fantasy, or just modern dystopian. Who knows? And then hi Jessica Barry. Welcome. How did everyone do that sprint? I only wrote around 200 words, I think. But I was writing a rough scene, like I said before. It's the where Rye, my main character, finds the dead bodies. And they're like burned. And I was like, I think I know what burned bodies look like from watching Bones as a child. But I did Google it, and I regret that. Because those weren't props, those were people. Don't Google that. So yeah. But I was right. I didn't even need to Google it. Shout out Bones prop designers. But yeah, so I was talking to one of my CPs, aka Rowan, about the scene, like sending blurbs as I wrote it, because I wanted to get yes, I upped the it isn't a book for adults, but I don't want people to be like grossed out by reading it, but I still want to get the impact of the scene. So I have him come across the bodies, describe them. I could go more, but I'm not going to. So I have described them, and then Rye hurls. And I know that is like a trigger for some people. Any mention of hurling. So I was trying to describe that with like still getting that being a reaction, because honestly, looking at those pictures, I kind of wanted to. And these are people he knows. So writing that and then sending it to Rowan and being like, is this too much? Like, I don't want people to be like, I can't read this book. Because this is really as gruesome as it gets. The only time it gets this gruesome too. But it's chapter 1, so it might be iffing people. And then I also realized I have my other lead also hurl 2 chapters later, which is the only times it happens in the book, and they're for very different situations. But it's just like, okay. And they're both situations where like, yeah, that's what would happen. But I don't think I've written people throwing up before. And I could have just continued that, honestly. Because I feel like when I write more physical feelings for characters, my body like, oh, what does that feel like? And so like it like checks in with my body and like, oh, like I feel a little bit of what that would feel like when I'm writing about a character crying, I'm like, oh, like eyes hurting, like flushed face, like throat maybe dry from like crying, that kind of stuff. So I'm talking about then I'm like, oh, now I'm kind of nauseous from thinking about that so much. But anyways, moving on so I can stop being not feeling well. Lauren says hi. Their world is future utopian. That is really cool. What kind of writing project is this? Is this for a Screenwriting, I'm guessing, but for TV or movie. And tell us more. Like, give us a log line if you're willing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, don't recommend. Rowan has been doing a staggering amount of research into the drug culture in Japan for a fan fiction that's only tangentially related to weed. Is this modern drug culture in Japan? And honestly, that sounds really interesting. And Lauren agrees. I think you guys would get along. But yeah, that's so cool. I like research. I like researching stuff. Well, I like researching not what I just looked into. I like doing other research, really any other research. I'm so much more here for. But that, I guess I did research for this as well. But that was not enjoyable research. I also did look up the melting point of human bones and the melting point of gold. Gold melts before bones do. Wait, no, gold melts after bones do. Yeah, so I couldn't melt gold because I need the bones intact. Anyways, Rowan goes, LOL, it's actually been really fun. Maybe a little bit of a waste of time, but I'm enjoying. Honestly, go off. Who knows it's a waste of time? Because you could pull it in later with this project or other projects. Like, that's something that is, with me knowing like what kind of stuff you write, something that could in the future be useful. Like, yes, you're doing the research now and you're spending the time now and you won't need all of the time you're spending on this particular project, but in the future for a different project, this might be like, oh, I have this knowledge in my arsenal. Around modern drug culture, I would be interested in historical drug culture as well. And Lauren's laughing at me. Take care of yourself. Yeah, me? I'm fine. I mean, I'm gonna stop writing that scene now. Well, I finished it. I'm very glad I did. Yeah, but it shouldn't be like that bad for readers. I just was doing don't look at images. Do not recommend. But anyways, that means I get to a previous scene that I had already wrote. Lauren says it's a TV show, no log line yet. This is a different one from the one you were writing when we were hanging out, right? Because I didn't think that was utopian. Okay. I can go work on my other vomit scene. No, that one's fine. I am nearly done chapter 1. Pulling it up. I do need to add in like a scene at the beginning, where I introduce this character that I just wrote about their dead body. So it won't be 11 pages, like I said earlier. That was a lie. But I think overall the chapter is in much better shape than it was. I do need to add in, like in fantasy novels or like hell, even in fucking Harry Potter, they're like Merlin's beard, or like or Lord of the Rings, they always mention, all the dwarves are mentioning their various gods and such. I want to incorporate that kind of cursing because I have characters curse. And so but they're like, by the gods. And I'm like, that's so vague. That's so boring. I need some gods. Or not even gods. I think I'm going to do like ancient dragons because that fits in with the more mythos of my world. I think that will be smoother. Definitely not the same project. Lauren asks, thoughts on balancing how graphic to write a scene. Is it audience dependent or story dependent? I think it's both. For audience dependent, you cannot. Okay, that's a lie. You can, but you shouldn't There's only a certain level of violence that should be in middle grade, should be in children, should be in young adult. And once you get to adult, then it's, whatever. It's dependent more on the marketing and like genre and stuff that you claim and attach to your story than the category, which the category is the middle grade, young adult, that kind of stuff. But for story dependent, where I'm writing an adult story, but horribly gruesome stuff like isn't as relevant to my story. Like it's this bad thing happened and we're seeing that it happened, we're seeing the effects of it, but I'm focusing more on emotion and like the basic visuals rather than like, I'm trying not to say it on stream because it will, I'm worried about, yeah. But like for a stab wound or something, you can do stab wound, blood loss, the feeling, that kind of stuff, but not being like, oh, you can see the like layer of fat beneath, like as the wound, like opening it up and blah, blah, blah. And like, or if you like someone's like they're stabbed, or they're slashed. And more adult thing, if they're slashed, you can like have their organs tumble out. But you wouldn't have that in middle grade. But you can still say they were slashed across the stomach. But it's just what you can have the same thing happen, but not described to the same extent. And then I love writing fight scenes, but you have to focus more on the thoughts and feelings associated with the fight than the actual injuries in the fight itself. When you're writing for less gruesome stuff. But then you have like Game of Thrones, which is so graphic. I assume. I actually haven't read Game of Thrones. I've watched it, or even like comparing watching it, like watching Game of Thrones to watching Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has injuries and stuff like that, but you're not seeing, it's not gory, but there is a level of gore in Game of Thrones. That's well done a lot of the time. Not always, but it's definitely more gory. Did that make any sense? I think it would be, pay attention if it messes up the tone of your story, and then if it takes away, what is the point of that violence happening or that graphicness happening? Is it there just for the sake of being there, or is it there like you need to impress upon the reader how intense this is for the writer or the characters? Let's see. Rowan says that they usually base it off personal comfort when the age rating allows for more graphic detail. I try not to trigger myself writing scenes, lol, but I'm also notorious weenie with gore. Fair. Yeah, and that's why we have like other people read your work to get other opinions before you start sending it out. But I would definitely look at who you're writing it for, the purpose of the scene, and the purpose of what would the story benefit by adding levels of graphicness. Like my story is benefiting by seeing the actual impact of the dragon attack in such a visceral way of seeing the dead bodies, but I don't think the story would benefit by describing like melting bones. Like we don't need to go that far. Because we already got the emotional beat there, the like horror beat and his reaction. And then we can move on. Well, not like emotionally move on, but like within the text move on. I only spent like 2 paragraphs on this. Thank you, Rowan. On that note, we are heading into our 3rd sprint, which will be another half hour. And then after that will be a 15-minute break, and then a 15-minute sprint, and then the wrap up. And then like chatting at the end. So I am going to try to finish chapter 1 this sprint. Wish me luck. I guess we still have 30 seconds. I'm so off with the time. It's like, oh, I'll say something, and then Sam will say something, and then it'll be out of time. But I don't have my Sam. I also didn't switch to what we're supposed to be doing, the like work. Ta-da! But it's fine. We'll just stay in this. Cool. Glad I could help. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. All right, let's enter the next sprint. Hello and welcome back. That time. Oh, let me take out all of our various tag things. Let's see, break 33. That time I succeeded. I got to the end of chapter 1. It was not much work. But I got to chapter 2. The character name that I'm referring to as Hellgrave. Can you tell he's a bad guy? But apparently his name was Hellgrave, which is dumb. No, it's not. It's fine. But I'm like, no, he's Hellgrave. But then I had him have a sir on his title. And I'm like, nah, he's a high-ranking servant. He's not a sir. So now his name is Vincent Hellgrave. I feel like that fits him. Vincent. He's never going to be referred to Vincent ever again. But it's his name now. His name is Hellgrave. That was, in fact, a whole half hour. I'm fairly certain. It is weird that we were on a 23 minutes. I guess 2 minutes. Yeah, no, that was a full half an hour. Supposedly. From now on, we have 15 minutes, and 10 minutes, which is 40 minutes, which will lead us to the 3-hour mark. Whoop, did not scroll back up. Ta-da. I did goof off a little bit for the end of that, though. That I met chapter 1. I did go in and try and format my document, because in Google Docs, it'll have like on the side, it'll have like your titles when you have them as headings. But that's not working in Word, and so I was trying to figure out how to, at least when I'm scrolling on the side of the document, to have the like tell me what chapter I'm scrolling to rather than just the page, but that did not work either. So I did a little bit of, I tried to switch it to titles, but that didn't work. So I think I have to switch back to a heading, but I don't know what type of heading. Because the first one worked. It would be like chapter 1, right? For heading type 2. But chapter 2, Jason, wouldn't pop up on the side. And I'm like, the whole document is not, in fact, chapter 1. It'd be a very, very, very long chapter 1. Actually, it wouldn't. Well, it would be like 40 pages, but it's fine. Rowan said it went by so fast I got nothing done. She's like, on your phone? Or no judgment here, because I did bring out my phone at the end. Because I need caffeine. But I didn't want to abandon you guys to stare at Sam's gorgeous picture or my empty chair for the time it would take me to make tea. Or eat something for real rather than just snacks. But it's fine. I'll survive for 35 minutes. Ooh, excuse me, yawning again. I don't yawn during the sprints, but as soon as the sprint ends, I'm like, okay, that's that. But I think we still have one more 15-minute sprint after this, but I feel like I got a good amount of work done. Sorry, I'm looking back at so we're in the 15 minutes, then 15, yeah, okay. Scroll up. There we go. But yeah, last break we had such a good discussion. This break, I'm like, oh, yawn, let me ramble. But it's fine. I named one of the gods. Every time I come up with like a name, not a name for like a character, but like a name for a thing or a place or a god, I have to Google it to make sure I'm not accidentally stealing it from something. Rowan was daydreaming about a scene later in the draft that I want to write but haven't got to yet. Do you outline, Rowan? Oh my god, I'm yawning so much. So I'm gonna get water and hopefully it just turns off the awning. I don't think that's how it works, but I have hair in my face. Longer hair in my face, and this half of my face. I feel like I do. Oh, there it is. A cat hair. I wonder where that came from. She doesn't care. I think I'm going to move the cat tower over a little bit more so you guys, when she is in there, will be able to see her a tad more. But then I'll move my exercise equipment, which is here, over. I don't know. It's obviously really big plans. But let's see. It's Wednesday. I have a job interview this Friday at a bookstore, which I'm excited about. I feel wholly unqualified, but it's fine. I started improv classes, which I had done before in high school and college. I'd even taken one class in high school with my dad, not like at school, but while I was in high school at a local theater, we took an improv class together, which I didn't remember until he mentioned it. And by golly, I am rusty. I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I do public speaking all of the time, but this is either looking at myself as I'm doing it or looking at a friend of mine. And it's different, even though I know there are hypothetically some strangers, even though most of our audience is people we know at this point. But standing up there in front of strangers, I was like, oh yeah, this is different. But it's fine. I had fun. I'm excited to see how it like evolves and stuff. Whew. God, I'm battling so much. Maybe I'll take a nap. I did not sleep well last night. Rowan's a pantser by nature, but learned the hard way when writing my thesis that I need to outline. Yeah. I feel like I had that. I thought I was a pantser when I was younger, and then I looked at my writing and it just did not stack up well. Like, I couldn't make more intricate plots because I couldn't keep it all straight in my head. I have these sound squares that have fallen off during stream before, but now they're like nailed to the wall. On the wall in the corner here, because it's very echoey when I'm talking all the time and I don't want to annoy my roommates. And I had like a couple nails in them, and then I thought of the great idea of putting the like enamel pins. I have like a bunch of them just into the sound things because I don't have a cork board. And it worked so well. And I'm very proud of myself. I don't know who a lot of the characters are that I have enamel pins of because a lot of them were free. But I'll get there eventually. I have no idea who they are. They're all like D20 characters. I only know Kristen Appleby's, who was in my dream last night. I don't know why. Well, I was right before I fell asleep. I was watching Fantasy High, and I was like, oh, it's getting too late. I have a stream in the morning. I should probably get a good 10 hours. And then I woke up so many times last night. Not fun. Do not recommend a shitty sleep schedule. I feel like my energy levels have plummeted since last sprint. Sorry about that, guys. I was so hyped to do this stream today. Because I am, for a fact, more productive when I am streaming. As a general rule, because I feel like I have to be on. And I also love the whole body doubling, or as my mom calls it, parallel play. Because apparently that's a thing babies do, and it's in like parenting books. And so when we told her about body doubling, she was like, oh, like parallel play. So that's why I enjoy like the work and chill calls in Sam server, which you guys should join. It's free. And yeah, but a bunch of strange noises outside my house today. Let's see what else. else? See, before, if I kept up with my list of things to talk about, then I could talk about those things. But my entire brain is so blank. We did the first session of the couple like D&D things that I'm DMing, and I had read the adventure. It's a pre-made adventure. I had read it beforehand, but then like 2-3 weeks passed, and then we played, and I did not review it enough before play because they talked themselves out of the first encounter that was supposed to be a fight. And then they did do the second fight, but I was like, oh shit. Also, I realized I need to make every single fight more difficult. They got out of the actual fight way too quickly. I was like, well, one of them did get down to 1 HP, but that's just through poor planning. A magic user went into melee range. And then they got to the point where they're like getting their quests for the adventure and talking to a bunch of NPCs. I'm like, fuck, I don't remember who any of these people are, or like their stories or the like personas I crafted for them. So I'm like trying to pull this out of my ass and like being like, there's a lot of important information I need to impart to you guys right now, and I don't remember a lot of it, like switching back between the multiple tabs, because I appreciate that D&D Beyond has the interactive like adventures, but it's not completely, or at least the one I'm using is not completely intuitive. Where I'm like, there's this really important piece of information that the character needs to tell or the NPCs needs to tell the players, but that's like 2 chapters later. And it's like, oh, you should have mentioned. And I'm like, you didn't tell me to mention. So when I was reading through it, I should have made notes. So I will probably go back through the adventure since they started playing and be like, hey, and make a bunch of notes for myself and all sorts of things. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I've been reading Don't Love You Like a Best Friend by Emma R. Albin, who's an Ithaca College alumni, that's where I went to college. It's lesbian Bridgerton. Yeah, if you watch Bridgerton, it's like, should have been lesbians. This is that. It's really well done. I'm very much enjoying it. It's outside of my normal genre, even though I did watch Bridgerton. But it's awesome. And it's historical, like it's London. It's the tone. It's as historical as Bridgerton is, but they do deal with like homophobia and stuff. But it's not, at least where I'm at, it's not like super intense. It's like, oh, we can't be together because we're both women. Like we can't get married, and that sucks. But honestly, that might be a future thing as well, not just a past thing. Let's not be depressing. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's very well written. There was a sex scene. It was well written. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it was focused more on the emotions rather than the actual physical actions, and I thought that was really well done. When I do buckle down to write the sex scene for my book, I'll probably go and reread that, even though it's completely different parts, but it's fine. That's not the important part. Well, it depends on what you're reading it for. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. Highly recommend. There is a sequel or companion novel that is guys, lesbians, and then dudes. So I will read that next probably. Well, I have to read a different book first, but then it is on my list. And the library has a hell hold on it, but it's fine. I'll get there eventually. I'm like watching this thing click down. I'm sorry, I'm so late today. Or now. I will attempt to go back to Storm's Heir and work on it a little. I don't know how much I'll actually get done, and I might end up just reading. But I will definitely attempt to do some work again. I am so hungry. but it's fine. Maybe I'll get some snacks. Or eat some snacks. Okay. Last sprint. Let's go. Hello. Okay. That is the end of our stream. Thank you for joining me today. Even though we were Samless, I worked a little bit, just a tad, and then I switched to reading on my phone. As you guys can probably tell with my head going from this to this, which is probably great for my neck, but it's fine. I have a caramel in my mouth, but it's fine. How did everyone else do? I'll give you guys a minute or so to answer, and then I think I will wrap up the stream. I did a little just embellishing on a couple descriptions, little world building, that kind of thing. And that's it. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Upcoming is next week is on Sam's channel on Monday. So on this channel on Monday is the quarterly party. I will be there for that, I think. And then next WIP Wednesday will be on my channel at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, 1 Central. No one cares about Mountain. And then, did I do that? Yeah. Whatever. 11 Pacific. That's what matters to me. My time. What time it starts, because I will forget. Seems like no activity. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you got some work done. I did. Hope you had a good time. Yeah. Bye.